round of applause to welcome them. In this session, we will hear 4 diverse research presentations that reflect the interdisciplinary spirit of our conference. The papers explore a wide range of topics from agriculture productivity and digital trade policies to labor dynamics and barriers to industrial transformation. Together, they offer us a multi-layered perspective on development and policy in Bangladesh and beyond. Each presenter will have 10 minutes for their presentation, followed by a 5-minute question and answer session. After all the presentations are complete, there will be a panel discussion where our esteemed chair and distinguished panelists will reflect on the findings and offer their valuable insights that tie the research into broader policy contexts. With that, I now formally hand over the session to our esteemed session chair, Dr. Mohammad Monir Jaman sir. The floor is respectively yours. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Distinguished guests, panel members, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and very good morning to you all. I would like to welcome the session 3 of our national conference, and this is the first session of today's first session. And in this session, there will be 4 papers will be presented. First on comparative effects of climate and non-climatic inputs on rice yields, new evidence from Bangladesh. The second paper presented by Shorna Rani, socioeconomic impact of labor migration in Bangladesh economy. Third on Tamanna Tabassum, Assistant Professor BIGM. Her paper, Barriers to Faster Structural Transformation and Reasons Behind the Low Manufacturing Growth, Comparative Evidences from South and Southeast Asia, Asian countries, a cross-country panel analysis approach. And the last one will be presented by Parboti. Her paper, The Impact of Digital Trade Policies on Bangladesh Agricultural Sector, a Policy Analysis. Actually, this session is very much important and crucial and very much aligned with our national seminar, national conference, that is Bridging Policy and Interdisciplinary Research Towards a Sustainable Future. Agriculture is the key. Agriculture is the mother of all industries. Without agricultural development, industrial development is not possible. So this session is very much important, and the papers are, all the papers are in line with this session topic, that agriculture to industrial development and labor policy. So without further ado, I would like to invite our first presenter, Dr. Zobayer Ahmed, Associate Professor, BIGM, to present his paper. You have 10 minutes time to present. Thank you.
Very much honorable chair, distinguished panelists, and our expert researchers and dear participants. I'm going to present a paper titled Comparative Effects of Climate and Non-Climatic Inputs on Rice Yields, New Evidence from Bangladesh. I'm going to present the paper on behalf of all the co-authors. The co-authors are Mohammad Riaz Hassan, Dr. Musa Khan, and Mohammad Amdad Hussain. So the main background of this paper is that climate is an important input in our agricultural production, and previous studies, they did not combine both climatic and non-climatic factors in considering rice yields or rice production. That's why the key research question of our study is to assess how the temperature and rainfall, that means the climatic factors affect rice production, and also the role of non-climatic factors. Based on these two analyses, we tried to focus on some key policy implications, policy measures. The literature review highlights that climatic factors, they have mixed effects on rice production. Also, regarding the non-climatic factors, especially the urbanization, it has positive impact on market access, and that also reduced the amount of farmland. Eventually, there is a mixed effect. And also, potassium use has mixed effect in previous studies we have found. So in the present study, we tried to combine these two factors, and we used this conceptual framework and also developed hypotheses based on the previous literature. I'm not going to describe all this in detail due to time limitation. We have the main dependent variable is rice production, and all other climatic and non-climatic variables are listed here in this table. And we also have shown the sources of data. The model is here. I'm not going to explain in detail. In the analytical stage, we conducted the analysis in several steps and also conducted some robustness tests, followed by diagnostic tests. Based on the analysis, we formulated some policies that might contribute in future policy formulations. In the descriptive statistics, we have shown the mean and standard deviation, also minimum and maximum, as well as skewness and kurtosis of the variables. We also checked the pairwise correlation if there is any multicollinearity among the variables. We also conducted unit root tests since we have time series data. That's why unit root test is very important, we know. And for ARDL, we also checked if there is any long-run relationship through bound test. So this is our main findings. We have both short-run and long-run relationship. In the long run, we see that all the variables are significant, and in the short run, we found only change in temperature. It is relatively insignificant compared to other variables. So in this slide, we tried to visualize the whole study, what we have found. In the long run, we see that temperature and fertilizer use has negative impact on rice yields. However, rainfall, urbanization, and cropland, these three variables have positive impacts. On the other hand, in the short run, we see that rainfall and temperature, these two climatic variables, along with cropland, has negative impacts. However, potassium and urbanization, that means the urbanization variable, these two have positive impacts. We also performed two other robustness modeling that are FMORS, fully modified ordinary least squares, PCR. We also checked the diagnostic tests, followed by stability test by Q-sum and Q-sum squares. Now let me explain what are the uniqueness of our research. The very first one is we have tried to integrate both climatic and non-climatic factors in a single model. And we found a very interesting finding, that is, use of potassium fertilizer has a negative impact in the long run on our rice yield. And urbanization has positive impact. That is also very interesting findings. And this can be explained in such a way that through our urbanization, agricultural market is expanding That's why it has positive impact on rice yields. Regarding permanent crop areas, and it has long-term benefits, we have come up with our research. So the policies we are going to put forward, number one is regarding Bangladesh, we need to develop a more climate resilient strategies and also implement effective water management policies compared to the existing one. And then we need to enhance urbanization and infrastructural development so that urban-rural linkage should have better positive impact on rice yield. The next policy we'd like to put forward is we need a balanced nutrient management. That is, while we are providing fertilizer to the agricultural land, we need to make a balance. Third one, actually the fifth policy, we need to support a smooth transition in permanent crop expansion. The final one is regarding Bangladesh, we need to establish climate smart rice production task force. And I also have two more specific policies here. Due to time limitations, I'm not going to explain them detail. Uh, this study we also have some limitations. Number one, we did not actually focus on the regional variations. We have used the variables that focus on national data. And we did not focus on nonlinear models. There might be a nonlinear relationship among the variables. And future research can also incorporate these limitations so that we can conduct further research in this field. So thank you very much. I hope through your concrete discussions, we can get some valuable suggestions to enrich the study. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Zobayer. I request you to remain the podium for 5 minutes for Q&A session. We will take the question now. So the floor is open now. You have only 5 minutes for the Q&A session. Please, just mention your name and organization and direct question, a specific question, please.
Hello. Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Shafiqul Islam, Deputy Secretary, RPUTC Dhaka. I have three suggestions for Mr. Mahmoud Hassan Riaz. I mean, is it Mr. Dr. Zubair Ahmed? Okay, my first suggestion is you have told us about that you have taken 2 climatic variables and 3 non-climatic factors. And you have not told us what is the logic. Why not you take other factors? So you must have explanation in your paper. And number 2 is you have used the ARDL model, and why not other model? You should have a justification for that too. And at the end of your paper, you have shown some recommendations, policy recommendations. How did you get them? Because your paper is, you have tested relations between the climatic variables and the rice production. Have you got these recommendations from any qualitative study? You have not shown that, so you can show those too. Thank you so much.
Okay, next one, please. Mr. Dr. Abdul Latif from BIGM.
Two variable, climatic variable, temperature and rainfall. In the agriculture side, temperature is very important for, as well as sun duration. And here, just to show that increase of temperature decrease the productivity. But what, if it is 5 degrees centigrade or 27 degrees centigrade, we do not know it. And again, regarding the rainfall. Rainfall is also, and we know for the shortage of rainfall, we irrigate the rice field. And inundation is sometimes is needed, alternative wetting and drying irrigation practice. So here we do not see that what millimeter rainfall is required, and then if it is the maximum output will be happen in what rainfall. Again, you have taken potassium oxide. Actually, in agriculture field, potassium phosphate, ammonia, that are fertilizer are used in the rice field. But here you only use potassium oxide. Actually, what are the reason to take this potassium oxide? It is the main fertilizer to use the rice production or not? And other, okay, thank you, sir.
Sir.
What is the theoretical foundation of your model and the hypothesis? You haven't said that what is the, and secondly, you draw conclusions, policy conclusion from your findings, but it seems that you haven't looked into the causal relationships. Mere regression might be porous regression. You haven't looked into the causal relationship between the dependent and independent variables. So these are my
Thank you, sir.
observations.
Nice question. Now, one more question, only one. So, I think I will take one question only for this.
Good morning, everybody. This is Omar Farooq Manik from Gopalganj Science and Technology University. So, sir, my question is, how much data did you collect for this paper, and what measures did you consider to collect those data? Thank you, sir.
Thank you for very specific question. Now, Dr. Zobayer, it is your time to answer or comment. As
Thank you
as
very
minimum
much
as possible.
for your valuable comments and suggestions and also the questions. Regarding Dr. Shafiq, he has 3 questions behind the variables. Actually, we tried to study, and based on the literature, the previous studies also used this type of or also relevant variables. So based on the literature we have studied, we selected the variables, and there is also a relevant question from Abdul Latif, in agricultural sector we also use other fertilizer. Why only potassium is considered? So this is only because of 2 things we have considered. One is some previous studies used other fertilizer factors. We try to focus on a new one. Also, data availability. This data is available, that's why we use this variable, and also try to test whether there is any impact. And the basis of policy, actually, I think that we need to focus more on relevant policies, whether there are some existing policies in this field, and also the policies we are suggesting based on our results. So thank you very much for your comment. And another question came related to climatic variables like sunlight exposure, how much our agricultural fields are exposed to sunlight. So we did not consider this, but I think if we consider more variables in a model, there are some other potential problems, especially the multicollinearity. Anyway, so if data is available, we will look for it in future. If data is available, we can consider this variable. And regarding the threshold level analysis, I think we mentioned in our main paper this. We did not conduct this threshold level analysis. From which threshold level we should consider this relationship. Regarding our director sir issues, I think we need to focus more on our theoretical background based on what we are modeling. So far we have considered some literature, but not exactly the theories like Cobb-Douglas models or other relevant theories in agricultural economics. So we need to look for them as well. I have taken notes. And also causal relationship, yes, this can be a vital analysis, I think, for such type of variables to predict in future or also to formulate policies. But till today, we have found some significant findings. I think we can consider all these suggestions and comments to make it further developed, the manuscript. So that's the main objective of presenting a paper in the conference. It's not like a thesis defense. We are not defending. Rather, we are trying to get feedbacks from the scholars, and also the policymakers and other stakeholders, so that we can enrich this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Zobayer, for your quick answer and responses. May I now invite Ms. Shorna Rani for presenting her paper, The Socio-Economic Impact of Labor Migration on Bangladesh Economy.
Hello, good morning everyone. My research is on socio-economic impacts of labor migration on Bangladesh economy, as our many workers are residing outside of our country. They are contributing on our economy. That's why I think that we should work on this policy. Labor migration and its impact on Bangladesh. Here we can see that labor migration, they are contributing on our remittances, but they are also facing some challenges. Their remittances are contributing their families, aligning with our economy. They are improving our economic growth, where we should implicate some policies for improve their condition. They face some challenges when they are residing outside. They have some harsh working condition, social stigma, and some challenges for their families are increased responsibilities on their women. And emotional stresses also are included here. Here are some research objects on remittance and migration in Bangladesh. Challenges for migrant workers. They face workplace exploitation, health and safety concerns, legal protections. And role of their remittance on our economy is economic stability, national development, as they earn a huge amount of foreign currency, so their importance is huge on our economy. But they are also facing some problems, that is gender-specific vulnerabilities, that is also include isolation, financial crisis, psychological impacts. Here we can implement some policies that are legal frameworks, empowering their women and diversifying economy. Here are some research methodology we have used here for demographic details, remittance uses, workplace conditions, social challenges, family dynamics, and we collected data both online and offline. Our ethical consideration is We did it fully, confidently, and voluntary participations. For using data analysis, we used statistical tools and pretesting. As we can see that most of the workers age are 25 to 34. They are holding 70.6% of the numbers. And their maximum numbers include to the male person. As we send many workers to the outside, they need some qualification and need to improve their skill. Our workers are not properly skilled. They should be skilled properly before going to the other countries where they can get some opportunities more and get their wages at high level. After going there, they face many kinds of problems, which is a major problem for their families and also our countries. As they face their health issues, they don't get enough health insurances and health opportunities there. And that's why they face a lot of problem. And there is another issue which can be said as their low wages. Otherwise, they also get some problems like exploitation, physical and abuse also include here. While their men are residing outside of their family, for this reason, their family face many kind of challenges, like their financial problem also increase, and their dependency on the man, it is also a concern for the women. And in our country, we can see that many people are working abroad. That's why their family don't get enough time to get attached with their men. And for this reason, staying away from their family for a long time, they get a social problem and their relationship also get distracted. And for this reason, in our country, our divorce rate are getting increased. If we can implement some policy where our women can get some chances to go there, like Europe and American country, where the men get chances to bring their spouses for a certain time, like they get summer vacation and some other vacation. So if we look forward this problem, I think we can solve some problems of them. And some policy should be implemented here. Thus, our women can get some opportunities for their family if some pressure can reduce from their men. And thank you for all. Here is my final question here, Suresh.
Thank you, Ms. Shorna. You have more than 5 minutes time to go, but thank you for you finished it earlier. Now the floor is open. Please, the question should be specific to the issues. Thank you. Please.
স্যার বাংলায় বলবো না ইংরেজিতে বলবো? আমি ইংরেজিতে স্বাচ্ছন্দ্য বোধ করি, বাট হার রিসার্চ ইজ টু উইক। সো আমি যদি ইংলিশে বলি, ও আমার কথা নিতে পারবে না।
You feel
আমি বাংলায় বলতে চাই।
No problem.
তোমাকে অশেষ ধন্যবাদ। তোমার সাচ এ টেন্ডার এজের একটি মেয়ে এত কঠিন একটি সাবজেক্টকে তুমি হাতে নিয়েছো, এই জন্য আমি তোমাকে সাধুবাদ জানাই।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
এবং তোমার সাথে যারা ছিলেন তাদেরকে আমি সাধুবাদ জানাই। আমি একজন এগ্রিকালচারিস্ট, গত 23 বছর যাবৎ আমি বাংলাদেশের কৃষির সাথে ওতপ্রোতভাবে জড়িত হয়ে কাজ করছি। তো আমি লেবার মাইগ্রেশন এখানে কি দেশে ইন্ট্রা অর ইন্টার, আই এম নট ক্লিয়ার। তুমি কি আমাদের শেষ করতে দাও? তুমি কি আমাদের দেশের ভিতরে শ্রমিকদের কথা বলছো, নাকি আমাদের দেশের বাইরে যারা যাচ্ছে তাদের কথা বলছো? তোমার বয়স অনেক ছোট। আমাদের উত্তরবঙ্গ থেকে আমাদের মুন্সিগঞ্জের এই এলাকাতে ধান কাটার জন্য প্রচুর শ্রমিক আসতো, এখন সেই শ্রমিকগুলো নেই। উই আর ফেসিং আ লট অফ প্রবলেম অন ফার্মার লেবার্স। এইটি একটি মাইগ্রেশন হতে পারে। এটা যদি স্টাডি করে থাকো, দ্যাটস গুড। আর তুমি যদি আমাদের লেবারদের ফার্মারদেরকে যদি দেশে বাইরে নিয়ে যাও, তো সেই ক্ষেত্রে আমার জানার মতে এখন পর্যন্ত কোনো দেশ আমাদের বাংলাদেশ থেকে কোনো লেবারকে অ্যাগ্রিকালচার লেবার হিসাবে নিছে বলে আমার ডাটা নাই। তোমার যদি থেকে থাকে, আই ডু অ্যাপ্রিসিয়েট। সো তোমার কাছে প্রশ্ন দুইটা, তোমার রিসার্চটা কি ইন বাংলাদেশ ওর আদার কান্ট্রিজ? দেন আমাদের সেন্সাস কি বলে রিগার্ডিং এগ্রিকালচার লেবার মাইগ্রেশন? থ্যাংক ইউ।
Okay, next. সামনে 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 আগে দেন সামনে প্লিজ।
Thank you so much, Shorna. Well, this is Mahfuzul Haq. I'm a former secretary of the government, as well as I'm a faculty of BIGM. Well, I would say it's a good attempt. Thank you so much. You did a good job. But I would suggest to you that, well, in future, you may like to look at gender issues, especially. I understand this is aggregated, both male and female workers. Am I correct? So perhaps the gender issues may be looked into, maybe male workers, migrant workers, or maybe female migrant workers. So their issues are totally quite different, from socio-economic perspective. And there are a good number of literature on this, on this issue. A number of NGOs are working, you might be aware of. A number of NGOs are working on these migrant workers in Dhaka University, in other places. So that could be something to look at. So please do so in your future work. Perhaps there's something to look at. And then perhaps can we also look at other issues, not only based on Middle East. I understand your migrant workers are all based in Middle East. Am I correct? Okay. So can we look at the other areas as well, the other trade as well? Very recently, our chief advisor, he mentioned about the caregivers. He mentioned about the nursing. And there are a lot of demands on that, a lot of demands, and also good money. So can we diversify our trade issue, field job act, especially when you go for your, your suggestion, so your policy alternatives. So that from that perspective, perhaps you may like to look at in those areas in your future work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your nice question and also nice intervention. Now, may I ask from the back, please?
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Maisha Mumtahin from Jagannath University, Department of Statistics. My question is, what was the sample size and sampling technique? You haven't specified any. And another thing was, you haven't shown any association between socioeconomic impact and labor migration. Thank you.
Any question from the back side? Sir. Sir.
Shorna, you are from Narayanganj Government Mohila College. So you are in honors or masters? What level you are?
I am an undergrad student.
You are undergraduate students. Okay, Shorna. There are several ways that you can. First of all, thank you for coming here and presenting this paper. If you look at your title, it is your socio-economic impact of labor migration on Bangladesh economy. But you spend quite a time talking about how our laborers or migrants laborers are being treated over there. That is not in your title. So my suggestion would be, first be clear that what question answer you are looking for. Then is lot of socioeconomic issues. It is not only a quantitative analysis, it could be a combination of both quantity and qualitative analysis. And by doing that, you can improve your papers a lot. Thank you.
Sir, thank you, sir, for your nice suggestions to her. Please, now your turn to give feedback.
First of all, sir said that which workers we included here as our country or abroad. It was about our abroad migrant workers. That's why we said that they are facing a lot of problems being outside as they don't get proper health insurances and wages. That is the problem, I say. And it's not only based on our agriculture, it's based on our workers, how they are working outside. They are facing problems. If they face a lot of problems and get low wages, it will impact our economy. And second question was that how can we work on that? As they face a lot of problems being outside, so we can implement some policies where they can reduce their health issues and get attached with their family, and their family's responsibilities can be reduced if our government implements some policies by empowering their women. And third question was, this method was qualitative and quantitative both. We used methods snowball sampling. It was online and offline both. We collected data from online and offline too. And the last question, sir asked that our title is not matching with our question. We say that the socio-economic impacts on our economy, as our laborers are staying abroad, if they don't get enough opportunities and they don't get high wages, their family problems won't be reduced and our economy may not improve properly. That is the answer, I think.
Okay, thank you, Shorna. Thank you for your nice presentation. May I now request Ms. Tamanna Tabassum, Assistant Professor, Bangladesh Institute of Governance and Management, BIGM, to present her paper. The title of the paper is Unveiling the Barriers to Faster Structural Transformation and Reasons Behind the Low Manufacturing Growth, Comparative Evidences from South and Southeast Asian Countries. So over to you.
Honorable Chair of the session, distinguished panelists, my fellow colleagues and dear audience, a very good morning to you all. This is Tamanna Tabassum. Thank you for giving me the floor to present my paper on unveiling the key determinant barriers to faster structural transformation and reasons behind manufacturing sector growth in South Asia and Southeast Asia. So one of the most consequential facts of economic growth in today's world is structural transformation, which has been rightly identified as one of the 6 prime determinants of economic growth by Nobel laureate Simon Kuznets. So this definition refers to the redistribution of economic resources through the broader sectors of the economy: agriculture, manufacturing, and services. In addition to this also refers to the transfer of workers from agricultural, which is a low productivity sector, towards a high productivity sector, manufacturing and services. As economies grow, we see that the demand for income elastic industrial goods increases in an economy faster than the demand for income inelastic agricultural good. So the economies dominated by agriculture tend to transform into the structure which is dominated by manufacturing and services in order to attain sustainable economic growth and productive income. So structural transformation has been a burning issue in case of South Asia, as South Asia could not face faster structural transformation with enhanced economic growth. Though the East Asian economies has experienced tremendous economic growth with fast structural transformation, this has been a matter of great significance in case of South Asia. Putting shed on the literature review, we can see the oldest concept of structural transformation has been given by Sir Arthur Lewis in the Lewis model, which has conferred to the concept of surplus labor absorption in the agricultural sector by the manufacturing sector. The later studies have put more emphasis on increasing the labor productivity in order to create high demand for labor in the manufacturing sector. The most recent studies put more focus on the positive externalities created through knowledge spillover, investment in research and development, capital accumulation, as well as technological progress in order to create more demand for labor in the manufacturing sector. The empirical evidences has confirmed that there is high association of income per capita with enhanced economic growth. With this, also the accumulation of capital, investment in human capital also indicates that the total factor productivity in case of USA and Japan has increased by 66% in recent years. Regarding the roles of policies and institutions, it has been seen that reduced amount of interventionist policies in case of South Asia and other regions across the world has accelerated the manufacturing sector development and faster structural transformation. While giving the examples, we can see examples on the basis of regional differences. We can see in case of South Asia, comparatively much rigid interventionist policies has created slow growth of manufacturing sector and slower structural transformation here. So, the literature puts shade on the debate of South Asia versus Southeast Asian economies, where we can conclude that these East Asian economies follow an export-led growth, whereas in case of South Asia, it follows service-led growth, keeping more smaller rooms for manufacturing sector development. So the main issue of this study is to identify the key barriers to faster structural transformation, putting emphasis on the role of institutions and government policies, followed by a qualitative analysis whose sources has been taken from this. And it will be incorporating a quantitative analysis identifying the factors affecting low manufacturing growth, which will involve a panel data analysis taking data for 12 countries of South and East Asia from World Bank Development Data Indicators from 1980 till 2023. Looking on to the sectoral output share of GDP in South Asia, we can see that from 2010 till 2023, the service sector output has increased from 46 to 50%. No substantial increase of manufacturing output is being seen in these 13 years. Rather, there is 2.5% decrease in manufacturing output share here. In case of employment share, we can see that the service sector employment has increased from 28 till 33.5% from 2010 till 2023, whereas in case of manufacturing sector, the increase has been only 3%. In case of agriculture, there is a sharp decline, which is 8% in these 13 years. While giving emphasis on individual countries, we can see that in case of South Asia, Bangladesh has employment share contributed to agriculture to 37%, Nepal has highest 62%, Bhutan 56%, and India 44%. On contrary, the Southeast Asian countries have this percentage varying from 24 to 32% only. So this proves that still a larger share of employment is still working in the agricultural sector in South Asia. Then we will be comparing this region with other regions of the world in case of employment share, where we can see that South Asia has 44% employment share in agriculture. Sub-Saharan has more than South Asia. The developed Europe has 15% and East Asia has 30%. In case of 2023, this has reduced only by 2% in case of South Asia and reduced by 6% in case of East Asian economies. So while analyzing the main reasons behind this slower structural transformation and a comparative analysis, it has been found that the role of institutions and policies can play a significant focus here to accelerate the structural transformation. We have identified the barriers under two bigger heads, government policy and market controlling policy, where the government policy includes labor, land, and product market regulation. So due to rigid labor policies, high adjustment cost, and substitution of labor with capital, the demand for labor is being reduced in case of manufacturing growth in South Asia. In case of land policy, complex land acquisition and reformation policies have created much smaller rooms for private and public sectors to acquire land for manufacturing growth and industrial development. For product market regulation, we can see that the ease of doing business is very low in case of South Asia, as well as the products produced in East Asian economies are more cost-friendly and cost-effective for export and import rather than South Asia. There exists coordination problem among all these firms that are existing in the market regarding new technologies when they are entering into the market. Credit market is very imperfect in South Asia, as that credit market is very difficult for smaller firms, and it gives flexible access to the larger firms associated with high loan default. The economies with higher structural transformation and stronger manufacturing base have high percentage of skilled laborers in their economy, which lacks in South Asia. So there will be an outcome of the study in the quantitative section, which will have the potential outcome and feasibility to contribute to the policies. This will be followed by a panel data analysis. For this, we have taken manufacturing value added as the dependent variable, FDI, direct domestic credit to private sector, energy import, energy consumption, energy production from natural resources, agricultural land, and gross capital formation as the explanatory variables. So the result shows that there exists significant positive relationship of manufacturing output with FDI and domestic credit to foreign market, indicating that with the increase in FDI and domestic credit to private sector, the manufacturing value added increases. There has been found negative relationship with agricultural land with the manufacturing value added, confirming that agricultural land with the increase in agricultural land, manufacturing value added reduces. Though there is high association of energy import and energy consumption with the enhanced economic growth, in case of South Asia, this has been insignificant. The unexpected and the interesting finding is the gross capital formation has negative relationship with manufacturing value added, which has been positive in other countries of the world. And the reason behind this is South Asia follows a service-led growth, which indicates that gross capital formation has been negative in case of South Asia. As a policy recommendation, more investment on human capital, improvement of transportation and communication for better infrastructure for attracting more FDI, flexible land and labor policies, more domestic credit to the private sector will be effective for accelerating the rapid structural growth. So to recapitulate and in conclusion, I want to say that South Asia is blessed with having the most eminent natural resources of the world, including India, which is rightly been called the queen of multiplicity of nature, the big monasteries of Bhutan, the largest delta, Bangladesh, the Emerald Island, Sri Lanka, Himalayan daughter, Nepal, and the deserted beauty of Pakistan and Afghanistan. This economy has the most vibrant aspect to grow at a fastest possible way in the future. So policymakers need keen attention to take demand side and supply side policies in order to accelerate the economic growth through rapid structural transformation. Thank you everyone for having patience.
Okay, thank you, Tamanna. So, as a student of economics, I went back to my Dhaka University class, second year or third year. that the Lewis model, Rani's model, and the economic transformation model. So you have portrayed it very nicely. Now the floor is open for 5 minutes Q&A session. Please, from the back.
Thank you so much, Tamanna. This is a timely research, especially for Bangladesh and South Asia, because industrialization is very needed for Bangladesh. I have a quick suggestion for you. You have shown some literature review. However, your main focus is structural transformation. We need, as a audience, we need what is the definition of structural transformation, and what are the components are there, because numerous components are there, but how many components you have taken for this study and how you have taken that. This kind of explanation you need in your paper. Thank you so much.
থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার প্রিভিয়াসলি আমি আমার পরিচয়টা দেইনি আমি ডক্টর আবুল কাসেম মোহাম্মদ জাহাঙ্গীর হোসেন ডেপুটি সেক্রেটারি মিনিস্ট্রি অফ এডুকেশন সত্যি স্যার ওদেরকে সাধুবাদ জানাতে হয় রিসার্চ অনেক এগুচ্ছে আমি 90s যেভাবে চিন্তা করতাম তারা অনেক ডাইমেনশনে অনেক সুন্দর সুন্দর কাজ করছে এই জন্য প্রথমে তাদেরকে আমি আবারও ধন্যবাদ জানাই মেইন ফ্যাক্ট হচ্ছে যে আমরা যখন পলিসির কথা বলি তখন অনেক ইনডেপথ স্টাডি লাগে ইনডেপথ স্টাডি বলতে আমি বলছি তুমি ব্যারিয়ার্সগুলো বলেছো বাট হোয়াট অ্যাবাউট দ্য শকস সেই শকসগুলোকে যদি কোনোভাবে এখানে অ্যাকুমুলেট করা যেত আই থিঙ্ক দ্য পেপার ওয়ার্ড উড মাচ বেটার দ্য ওয়ার্ড ফাস্টার এটি আমার কাছে একটু অ্যাডভার্ব মনে হয়েছে ইট শুড হ্যাভ বিন স্পিডিং আপ ইটস মাই রেকমেন্ডেশন থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ
Okay, thank you. And next one. Sir, from the director sir. It is our privilege, sir.
Thanks, many thanks. The title of your paper, it seems it is too little, too long. So I think you can think about, how you can more have a more meaningful title. My first is a query that whether structural transformation is the cause of growth or it is the effect of growth. I think that there is a confusion, and you talk about economists and literature, those are old 60s literatures. The growth literature, structural literatures of recent time, there is no reference in your paper. And I would want to request you, please focus down, narrow down, refine your hypothesis, and then go on. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your informative questions. Please, Dr. Abdul Latif.
Thank you, Tamanna. Actually, when you talk about qualitative analysis, I have seen that there are qualitative analysis, but I have you show different analysis from like Sub-Saharan Africa, East Asian. That all are quantitative, and it is mainly 2010, 2015, and 2022. And your panel analysis is you have mentioned that 1980 to 2022. I think there are the difference. So how you interlink with this quantitative and qualitative, if I may wrong. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So if there is no more question, then I back to Tamanna for your response.
Thank you so much for the questions. So the first question goes about the definition and components of manufacturing. Definition has been there, and the elaborate paper, it has been discussed in an elaborate way. Due to time shortage, I could not incorporate all these things. Shocks, second question came with shocks. That's a good suggestion. I will try to look into the shocks also. Regarding title and the recent studies, I will definitely be looking into the recent studies. Recent, I have mentioned about 2013 and 2018, the latest, but yes, I will be incorporating that as well. Regarding qualitative and quantitative, since time is constrained, so qualitative analysis, I had to put these statistics, and I have this elaborate explanation that how this has been reducing and how it is affecting the economy in the qualitative section. And for panel data, since it's a long panel, I have taken almost 24 years of the studies to incorporate into the model. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tamanna, for your nice deliberation. Now the session last but not the least presentation. May I request Ms. Parboti Das, student Jagannath University, to present her paper. The paper title is The Impact of Digital Trade Policies on Bangladesh Agriculture, a Policy Analysis.
Greetings everyone. So I'm Parboti Das, graduate student of Jagannath University. Today I would like to present my paper, The Impact of Digital Trade Policies on Bangladesh Agriculture Sector, a Policy Analysis. So as Bangladesh is an agricultural country, it's very crucial for us to improve policies for farmers, especially who are living in local areas, rural areas. So in this paper, we analyzed two policies. One is ICT policy of 2009 and other is digital commerce policy of 2018. So these are policies. These policies were made for improving farmers' improvement, they can improve their facilities to recover their implications in farming and so on. So the main national ICT policy of Bangladesh, we see some positive sides, and both policies have some positive sides and both policies have some gaps. We found out the things. For methodology, we used qualitative approach. We used basically secondary data, and now I would like to present the positive sides of ICT policy of 2019. The positive side is promotion of ICT in rural development. This policy was acknowledged, if we use the policy acknowledged that the role of digital tools in rural areas, especially for accessing agricultural data, is crucial for weather forecast and pest control information. And second is resource optimization. It suggests if we use digital tools to monitor soil condition, water use, and crop health, this can lead to more efficient input use, reduced cost, and higher productivity. For mobility access, it supports mobile platforms to deliver information to farmers in remote areas. Its need for extensive infrastructure. And for another is, the last one is encouragement of public-private partnership. By welcoming private investment in ICT infrastructure, the policy creates opportunities for rural innovation and services. And if we think the positive sides of digital commerce policy 2018, it would be first on promote of e-commerce platforms, support, second on is support for digital financial inclusion, and third on is use of data analytics. So first one is promotion of digital commerce platforms. Here, this can directly benefit farmers by allowing them to sell products online, access broader markets, and reduce reliance on middlemen. And the second one is support for digital finance inclusion. Farmers can receive payments digitally, ensuring faster, more secure transactions that strengthen financial independence. And third one is the use of data analytics. Although not agricultural specific, data analytics in commerce can be repurposed to support farmers with market trends, pricing, and crop demand insights. So we notice some gaps. First gap of the ICT policy 2009 is lack of agricultural focus. The policy broadly supports ICT but offers no sector-specific guidance or programs tailored to farmers. This limits practical implication on agriculture. Infrastructure deficit. There is minimal attention on realities of rural internet and electricity access, critical for digital trade participation. No literacy training. Actually, I think training is very crucial to improve every person, but this policy didn't arrange any training programs for farmers. So digital tools often, these kinds of digital tools were kind of difficult for to use for farmers. Digital production oversight. The policy lacks clear guidance for securing agricultural or personal data, making farmers vulnerable to misuse and fraud. If we think about digital commerce policies gap, first one is urban-centric focus. This policy was based on urban farmers, which was kind of most initiatives are designed with urban business models in mind, ignoring the unique needs of agriculture, such as rural logistics, storage, and lack of e-commerce integration for farmers. The policy does not address practical challenges farmers face, like lack of certification, inadequate transportation, and limited packaging or branding capabilities. Weak data security and IP protections. Farmers have no safeguards for their digital data or innovation, creating mistrust in online system. We also used some theories. One is digital divide theory, which that explains why rural farmers have not same access to technology as urban people. We also used policy analysis theory, which tells to how policies affect different sectors like agriculture. So that was the end of my session.
Thank you, Ms. Parboti, for your nice presentation. Now the session is open for Q&A. We have more time. Yep. So we are expecting more questions from the audience.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. I think we should appreciate the young researchers. However, we should focus that there is a clear distinction between the assignments and the research. When we do assignments, we can read many papers and we can summarize it. This is assignment doing. And when we do research, we must do a huge literature review. By review, we can find what is the research gap, and based on the research gap, we have to make a research question. And then we will see the methodology, how we can answer that questions. So this is my suggestion for researchers. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. Me, Mohammad Liaquat Ali Sheikh, Deputy Secretary, Ministry of Public Administration. You have studied two policies and identified some problems and challenges. But what are your suggestions to repair these policies? You must have some recommendations or suggestions. Thank you.
Sir. Director, sir.
I want to thank you, Parboti, because this is, I think, the first paper presented which is a policy analysis, which is very much linked to our theme of the conference, bridging policy and interdisciplinary research. Basically, there are two fundamental issues that I think you need to address. One is what you have done an analysis of two policies, IT policies, which has implication for our agricultural sectors. But I think there are different tools and techniques to evaluate any policies. You haven't talked about any those tools. You need to use those tools and techniques to evaluate any policy. I think if you can do that, you will cover his points, and it will be a very good paper. It will be. So I request you, please concentrate on these two policies, not only the policies itself, but how you can really make good analysis of those two policies. Use those tools and techniques. Thank you.
Any more question from that side? Left side or right side? No more question. So then I ask, may I ask Parboti?
So
for his
my
feedback.
first question was regarding literature review. Actually, we didn't have enough time, so due to time limitation, we couldn't able to do more literature review. But yes, I should. We will keep in mind about literature review and using efficient tools and a recommendation. For recommendation, my suggestion would be rural farmers would be efficient. Like sometimes when they use data, they don't get any safeguards. So I think we should focus on these kinds of things. And I think some rural farmers have lack of training. So training should be focused to enhance their capabilities. And another thing is rural farmers don't know how to use digital platforms very carefully. I think these kinds of recommendations are needed to improve their situation.
Okay, thank you for your nice deliberation. Now this is the time for panel discussion. We have two distinguished panelists with us. Dr. Mohammad Hossain Sarkar, Joint Secretary, Minister of Labour and Employment, Government of Bangladesh. And we have Dr. Muhammad Ghulam Farooq, former Additional Secretary to the Government of Bangladesh, now Professor at BIGM. First, I would like to invite Dr. Mohammad Hossain Sarkar for his comments and remarks.
Good morning. Let me start by congratulating the presenters for their rich presentation today. I'll be brief in highlighting three key takeaways from these presentations. Because of time limitation, maybe we cannot go further discussion, but I will be hoping to have discussion with the researcher in future as well. The first study offers a valuable contribution by modeling both climatic and socio-economic variables, that's what called here as non-climatic variables. So we understand that in an era where climate and agriculture intersect with complex social and economic forces, such integrative models, climatic and non-climatic, are essential for both national planning and regional cooperation. So 3 points that stand out for me for these presentations are, like, the first one is the long-term negative impact of temperature and the positive role of precipitation. These findings are not new, but this model adds clarity by distinguishing between short and long-term effect. So a crucial nuance for policy design is there. The second one is the positive association between urbanization and production. So it challenges the typical assumption that urban expansion has a negative impact on agriculture. So this paper rightly points to infrastructure, market access, and the technology transfer as mediating factors for this result. This invites a deeper inquiry in future how we can increase productivity rather than simply view urbanization as a threat to farmland. The third notable finding is the negative relationship between the use of fertilizer and the production, especially in the longer term. So, as the presenter rightly identified, there may point to imbalances in nutrition application. Like, there is a tendency among farmers to use fertilizer indiscriminately. It raises the critical question for the government as well to review the fertilizer policy and also the subsidy that are being given for fertilizer to the farmers and other extension services that are provided by the government. So this study reinforces the urgency of shifting towards more localized soil fertility management and also the behavioral change of the farmer. I appreciate the presenter for their findings. And from the audience, I saw that there were suggestions on variables and theoretical framework. Since this is the inception of the study and the research, and they are mostly the young researchers here, so I would suggest them to take all the suggestions that are given from the audience. Finally, I conclude by suggesting to dig deep with the Bangladesh climate change strategy and action plan. Probably you have studied it, but in your presentation, I didn't hear it, nor I saw it in the abstracts. That's why maybe you have studied, but I didn't understand whether that was studied. And also, it's applicable about the Delta Plan 2100 that government has been formulating for the last few years. Nonetheless, thanks for the insightful and well-structured study to the first team. So, regarding the second presentation, that was on socio-economic impacts on labor migration. This study addresses not only the macroeconomic significance of migration, but also its social cost. Here, the presentation was a bit weak. I don't know, since I didn't see the whole paper, maybe there were lackings. Obviously, there should have in the paper as well. But the presentation was not that up to the mark, maybe even weaker than the existing paper. So there are a lot of suggestions on this paper, but particularly I have 3 takeaways from this study as well. Since I am a student of labor migration, I did my PhD in labor migration, so I understand what are the lackings here, but at least this paper has highlighted some of the crucial issues that government should take into consideration. First, the use of primary data allows us to hear the voices often missing in the policy conversations in government sector. The findings that 60% of workers experience wage exploitation and nearly half of them face health concerns, and around 70% of women and children in migrant households experience isolation, insecurity, and socio-emotional gaps is a powerful statistics. So this reflects the salient feature that isn't captured in the GDP figures or GDP calculation or remittance inflows that we highlight day-to-day basis. And these are often an invisible dimensions of migration, particularly for countries like Bangladesh. In fact, this paper reminds us that behind every remittance, there is a story of hardship. And therefore, policies must rise to the level of that human experience. Secondly, what stands out in this paper is the clear call for a more holistic migration governance framework. So strengthening legal protections for workers abroad is not enough, but also we should look at the local level, like skill certification, pre-departure orientation. Especially, I would emphasize on pre-departure orientation. If we focus on migrant domestic workers, hundreds of thousands of migrant domestic workers are working abroad currently, and around 80,000 to 100,000 women domestic workers, they are going abroad. But I understand the cruelty and the difficulties they face in their workplace abroad. But at the same time, I understand the lackings here in Bangladesh. You see a woman from a remote area, from village remote area, who even didn't see the way of doing things in urban areas in Dhaka, the modern amenities, etc., without being interact with these things, they directly go from a very rural areas to abroad, which is a very developed country with modern appliances in the house, extremely new environment. They face difficulties, even in food consumption. I saw some of the women domestic workers who returned back from abroad. When they were asked what difficulties they faced, first they said, I didn't have enough food. So a woman who goes to Middle Eastern countries where the staple food is different than us, and they are not given the food they are accustomed with in their workplace, and coming back after 2 years without having enough food, or we can say it like starvation. So these are the problems they face in abroad. I appreciate the presenter for at least highlighting these problems that our workers face in their workplace abroad. And finally, I appreciate the suggestions that Bangladesh must begin to diversify its economy. It's obviously that remittance have a lot of very positive effect in our economy. But at the same time, can we think of having decent work opportunity in our country so that they don't need to think of going abroad? Yes, some people will go abroad, and they will for better earnings, for living better, etc. But that should not be a pressing idea for them to leave country to have job opportunities. We should think of it. I appreciate the presentation who did research on labor migration. Hopefully we'll be talking in future on this as well. For third paper that focuses on structural transformation and manufacturing growth, it is significantly relevant for South Asian countries, including Bangladesh, where the region's economic growth often seems at odds with the slow pace of industrialization and structural change. I have three key insights may point out here as well. I'll be very brief because of time constraint. I understand that the time is very limited. In this presentation, it highlights manufacturing as a key driver of rapid structural transformation a point well documented in the success story of East and Southeast Asian countries. By contrast, in South Asia has seen a growth model mainly centered on services that this study highlighted. And the weak manufacturing base has been a significant bottleneck in accelerating the structural transformation in this area. The second one is the findings that natural gas consumption is more beneficial than broader electricity use. Adds an interesting dimension here. I didn't see the paper, the full paper, but I would love to read the paper to understand more on this issue. The third takeaway for me is the identification of land, labor, and product market rigidity as primary barriers. It is also important contribution. But also I would be happy to understand what does the rigidity of labor market meant here, and also what does the flexibility. So the difference between the rigidity and flexibility is one of the area where I would love to learn more in future. Finally, I would convey my thanks for this insightful paper. I'll go for the fourth presentation, which is also relevant with agriculture and trade policy. In the very inception, I'd like to flag out that the intersection of digital trade policy and agriculture is highly relevant subject for us, and particularly because Bangladesh moves towards a knowledge and service-based economy while still relying on agriculture for livelihoods and food security. This paper is kinda bit similar, at least on the area of focus of the area in research. So for myself, I am not an expert on agriculture, not expert on trade policy, but on maybe a little bit on labor policy. I don't know whether there is any opportunity to take question on labor issues or labor sector in this audience or in this seminar. I'd love to do that. Finally, I would appreciate to all the presenters here today for their invaluable contributions, and I appreciate for arranging such a very insightful, valuable workshop seminar here today on research, this cross-sectoral research workshop. I personally have been benefited with your discussions and the presentation, and in future, I would love to have a sort of workshop or a presentation, especially focusing on labor issues. I thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mohammad Hossain Sarkar, for your very insightful and thought-provoking insights on all the papers within the very shortest possible time. May I now request Dr. Muhammad Ghulam Farooq, Professor, BIGM, for
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Chair, for giving me the opportunity to comment on these 4 papers. First of all, I congratulate all the 4 presenters here who did very good job, and they paid hard labor to produce this paper. I really appreciate them. The first paper presented by Dr. Zobayer, as Associate Professor of BIGM, the paper title is Comparative Effects on Climate and Non-Climatic Inputs on Rice Model, New Evidence from Bangladesh. This paper is very good, but the suggestion and the conceptual framework I cannot relate properly, because many suggestions, policy suggestions, you have made 12 policy suggestions, but to me, none of this is analyzed before. Many policy suggestions already in our country. Suppose I can read one thing: heat tolerant rice variety. It is develop climate adaptive strategies. Already Bangladesh has many studies regarding climate adaptive strategies. You can see Department of Environment, they have very good papers, but you have not analyzed those. That's need to be investigated here. And regarding your conceptual framework, you have used a model, ADRL, auto-regressive distributed lag model. This model is only, we can use only for the time series data, but here you have used many variables for to climatic data and non-climatic. So there should be different way the analysis. A single variable is very useful for a ADRL model, but when many variables comes, I am not sure your model I have seen, but I can relate with them. But look at that. Also, another thing is that stationary test is very important. The data needs to be non-stationary before going to your detailed analysis. So please, you have not clearly mentioned that whether your data has been non-stationary, and your data is not very clear to me. Please go through that parts to make more clear about your paper. Second presenter is socio-economic impact on labor migration on Bangladesh economy. Thank you. This is presented by Shorna Rani, a student of National University. Thank you, Ms. Shorna, for your very good effort. Considering your age and education, you have taken many challenges to produce your paper. But many comments may become, our Honorable Director Sir has made good comments on your paper, but all comments is for your improvement. Please remember that. I suggest you that you are trying to find out some socio-economic impact. So what are the social factors and what are the economic factors? First of all, you identified those factors. Social factors are education, poverty, nutrition, like that, and economic factor is level of employment, income level. All those things are very important for this. Please identify some few factors, and then you analyze those, and then you can go some good conclusion. Now, there are many factors which is not properly analyzed in your paper. So it is good attempt, but I think you will be successful in future. Thank you. The third paper is unveiling the barriers of faster structural transformation and reasons behind low manufacturing growth, comparative evidence from South and Southeast Asian countries. This is presented by Ms. Tamanna Tabassum, Assistant Professor of BIGM. Thank you, Tamanna, Ms. Tamanna, for your very good paper. This is very good attempt. But as I understand reading from your paper that you are going to give some solutions, the low manufacturing growth in our country. So what is the low, what is the region, what is the barriers for low manufacturing growth? But you have not properly defined the manufacturing industry in our country. Something like jute industry, garments industry, leather industry. Bangladesh jute industry covers 84% of our export. So we have very good progress in our manufacturing industry from the jute industry. It is not a low manufacturing industry. It is a ever-growing industry in our country, but other 16% which cover leather, other sector, but you have to look that on whether jute industry is why it is slow growing in our country. So define accordingly, we can compare these two countries. And you see, we have analyzed two areas, South Asia and Asian country, but in the findings, I have seen some European countries you also presented your results, but you have not analyzed. Europe and Central Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa also came from your analysis, but I am not sure how this came to your results. Thank you. Now the final presenter is Ms. Parboti Das, student of Jagannath University. The paper title is The Impact of Digital Trade Policies in Bangladesh Agricultural Sector. Thank you, Ms. Parboti. Considering the age and your education, you did very good job here, but I also said that many comments made by for this paper from our director, sir. Please consider those on, but all comments is for your improvement. But one thing I would like to remind you that ICT policy 2009 is very old policy in our country. We have ICT policy 2018, and that is prepared by Ministry of ICT. And we have another policy that is digital commerce policy 2018 also. This policy is also prepared by the Ministry of Commerce. So please, you have analyzed a very old policy. Please take the updated policy of our country. And already regarding the policy analysis is a very tough job. Our senior officials also did training on that. So already our directors have said that you need some specified tool or model to analyze this policy. You can use those tools. Thank you all the presenters, and thank you for giving me a chance to tell you something here. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Dr. Ghulam Farooq, for your nice comments and valuable insights. We are actually running short of time, and our next session, distinguished chairman, panel chairman also, session chair also is here. So, as a chair, I have nothing to say because already two esteemed panelists, they have discussed, and the audience also give the suggestions. But I have some very quickly, I take just few minutes. That first on Dr. Zobayer's paper, you could do dynamic OLS rather than fully modified OLS because your study, I guess, it is non-parametric. It is not non-parametric. It is parametric test. So in case of the parametric test, dynamic OLS is more effective and more appropriate. You did not include the flood as your, the external variable. Flood is in our context of our country. Flood is maybe an independent variable in your context. So please try to incorporate this. The socioeconomic impact of labor migration. This paper also, there are some gaps of methodological issues. So please include the clear methodological issues, and try to build up some model that what you are going to be tested. And for the third paper, still the structural transformation issues should be taken care of. Also the literature review should be updated. And you have to clearly show the paradigm shift, that is the primary sector to secondary sector as well as the tertiary sectors. So how it is shifting, different regime, how it is shifting, you can do the Chow breakpoint test or something like that, structural change to cover it. And the last but not the least, the digital trade policy, it is important for our context. So please try to improve your paper so that it could be published in a good journal. So I have nothing to say, but now I think as a panel chair, session chair, I would like to thank all the presenters and the distinguished audience, our panel members. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you to all our presenters, our session chair and panel members for the insightful discussions and thoughtful observations. Now, I would like to invite the convener of the conference, Dr. Sultan Ahmed, to join us on stage to lead the next part of the program. We will now proceed with the certificate awarding ceremony to acknowledge our presenters for their valuable participation. First, I would like to call Dr. Zobayer Ahmed, Associate Professor at Bangladesh Institute of Governance and Management, to receive his certificate. Next, I would like to request Ms. Shorna Rani, student at Narayanganj Government Mohila College, to receive her certificate. Now, I would like to request Ms. Tamanna Tabassum, Assistant Professor at BIGM, to come forward. Finally, I request Ms. Parboti Das, student at Jagannath University, to receive her certificate. Thank you all once again for your outstanding contributions. We now move on to a special moment of appreciation for our panel members who enriched this session with their expertise and valuable perspectives. I would like to request Dr. Mohammad Hossein Sarkar to receive his memento in recognition of his distinguished contribution as a panelist in this session. Next, I would like to request Dr. Mohammad Ghulam Farooq sir to come forward and accept our token of appreciation for his valuable contribution as a panelist. Finally, a heartfelt token of appreciation to our session chair, Dr. Mohammad Munir Jaman, for his excellent stewardship in this session. To commemorate this engaging session, I kindly invite all the presenters to come forward and join us once again on the stage for a group photograph. Ladies and gentlemen, as this vibrant and insightful session comes to a close, I would like to thank everyone in the audience for your precious presence and active participation. Now we will take a 15-minute break for some refreshments, and please head to the Hall of Harmony, which is right beside this room. The next session will start from 11 p.m.